And come back into the Blue Door Pub, Thunderdome for another Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast show about everything and nothing at the same time. And everyone's middle name is Jerome. Sitting shotgun with me today is Uncle Nick, except he doesn't have a headset. So everyone rejoice. Yay.
Hooray for Uncle Nick.
Sitting in is Veronica Rodriguez. Follow her on Twitter at Mexi V Rod. MPR. Exciting stuff. Formerly of
it's super exciting.
KFAN, iHeart, Clear Channel. What are they called nowadays?
I think it's iHeart.
Yeah.
It's definitely iHeart. I don't know why I'm playing with it. It's iHeart, but I didn't like it.
Local radio known entity.
I like
fair?
that.
Is that fair?
That's cool.
Because celebrity, I feel like celebrity gets worn out. It gets lost in the wash. Like people call everything bullying nowadays, so then it becomes meaningless. Like
celebrity.
Internet celebrity.
I've never even
Instagram celebrity.
entertained that idea. No. I have less followers on Twitter than you do, so if anyone's a celebrity here, it's you.
I spend too much time on there. I think most people do.
I wish I had the time. I do not.
Coming in, talking some radio talking, some sports talking about everything, which is usual on here. But first, let's get into your backstory. So what's your deal?
What's my deal?
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
I'm from East St. Paul, right in the hood off of 35E in Maryland. My parents still live there 30 years later.
Yep.
That's where I grew up. I went to school in St. Paul. My high school is now closed. That's how ratchet that joint was.
Wait, did it have a name, or was it like ISD 285?
No, it was called Arlington Senior High School.
Okay.
It was on Rice Street in St. Paul.
What was your mascot?
The Phoenix.
The Arlington Phoenix.
Like the Phoenix we rise.
Except they did not rise. They fell.
They fell to a middle school. And then because that building was built, I believe, in 1999, the first graduating class was 2000. It's now Washington Middle School, if you've heard of it.
Oh, so it's not like completely shut down. They just relegated
No, they got rid of the high school.
I was going to say, that would be ultimate ratchet. Like that would be so like public education where they build a brand new school and then they just shut it down, turn to condos.
It was a huge building. It was a beautiful school, but an entire wing of that high school was dedicated to the daycare for the children of the high schoolers. So if that's any indication to you how wonderful of a high school I went to,
now,
that's what it was.
It's funny because when the wife and I were looking for a house like 2 years ago, we mainly looked at the Zillow ratings because we're a relatively young couple. I like St. Paul, I like Uptown, I like whatever. But then we looked at all the Zillow ratings and just like, all right, so it's red and then green all around the circle. So that's how we ended up in the suburbs, and we're basically neighbors. Yeah,
there's the occasional chunk of maybe 4 blocks around the Twin Cities that are genuinely good neighborhoods to live in. But everything around that, not so much.
Well, it's weird because I feel like when you're in the inner city, and this could be of any metropolitan area, it goes so fast, like from year to year, whether it's a good neighborhood, bad neighborhood, good school district, bad school district. And with kids and you're buying a house, that's a pretty big commitment. You can't just pick up and move all willy-nilly. And it's like, I have no idea what this neighborhood's going to be like in 5 years.
Yep.
Whereas Lakeville, I don't see Lakeville going bad. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't either. And we just got the new Hy-Vee down there. Everything is really close by to that area. That's why I bought in that area. Well, for a couple of reasons. I was looking in Bloomington, Richfield area.
Yep.
But there was such a small amount of house and yard for the same dollar amount of the house that I bought. And I have 2 German Shepherds now. Yeah, I've stuck with German Shepherds since the very beginning. But I have 2 German Shepherds now that are oddly large. So I needed
oddly large for a German Shepherd.
Oddly large and they tell me this all the time. They call my dogs obese. I don't want to hear it. They're thick. They're husky, so to speak. I needed the yard to match, and I like space. I mean, I have a lot of electronics, both for my job and for entertainment. I have pretty much all the game consoles, all of them.
Wait, are you like a 14-year-old boy when it comes to electronics?
Correct, except I actually know how to hook them up properly. I don't have to call my mom or go to YouTube.
All right, so you're really big in the video games, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That was the sarcasm.
No, that was some sarcasm because it's I hear other people in the Twin Cities on the radio talking about video games as if they know anything, but they don't have the time to play them like I do. I'm like, you guys have kids. You're going to sit here and tell me that you've played this much of a game and you have this opinion of a game when you can't possibly. You have not put in that kind of time or money.
Ooh, are you still on Video Games Weekly on KFAN?
I was once.
Oh.
I was on there once. And it was specifically because it was I did the review of Tomb Raider, the newest Tomb Raider, and Paul Charchian knew that was my game. Like, that was the very first game that convinced me to buy a PlayStation to begin with.
Do you identify as Lara Croft?
No, because that's a white girl.
Yeah.
I don't think she could hang in the mean streets of Lakeville.
In Mexico, they probably sell the bootleg version with, like, Michelle Rodriguez as Tomb Raider.
And her name is, like, Regina.
She's got her nails
Rodriguez,
did.
yeah,
she's got like 3-inch nails.
She wears hoops.
Yeah. But sorry, I digress. But so what did you do after?
You don't have to digress with me.
What did you do after Arlington Super High School?
I went to Arlington Super High School. I was in the ROTC program for 4 years. So my original option was to join the Navy.
Oh.
Because that was the branch that was offered there for ROTC. But the plan was to go to the Naval Academy, study behavioral sciences. I had it in my mind that I was going to be Clarice Starling someday. But then I realized
Silence of the Lambs,
then I realized I have no interest in being in the military.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is on at 7 in the morning on cable.
I think it's on 24 hours a day, depending on what channels you have available to you.
Is it like on a Tuesday? Yeah, no thanks. Yeah.
Oh, I'll always watch it.
Yeah. All right, now, so you're going to be like Commander Rodriguez.
Yeah, I would have been an officer because I completed the 4 years of the Navy, but all said and done, I had no interest in being in the military. Now,
just the service, the structure, being in a boat, what?
Having someone else call the shots in my life besides myself.
That's fair.
So I took 3 semesters to go to community college because I didn't want to fall behind. So I went to community college, figured out what I was going to do. I was thinking something to do with music because I was also in marching band, played several different instruments there. Did 3 semesters in college, in community college, and I was like, I don't need an AAS degree in nothingness, so I'm just going to transfer now because I had found a school in downtown St. Paul, McNally Smith College of Music, that offered music production. Reading it seemed like a lot of the people
Was that the place near the White Castle?
In downtown St. Paul? There's no White Castle in downtown. It's across the street from...
I just made that up to be glib.
Well, here's a not funny, but funny. It's right across the street from the Church of Scientology.
Wait, there's a Scientology place here?
Sure is. It used to be the Science Museum.
Nick, how come you haven't joined up with Scientology yet? We've talked about this.
He didn't know there was one here. He didn't know that there was one in downtown St. Paul he could hit up. But it's right across the street from the Church of Scientology.
Oh, that's so funny that it used to be the Science Building.
It used to be the Science Museum. Both of those buildings at one point were the old Science Museum of Minnesota. And Music Tech was the old school that bought the original building. And then McNally Smith ended up in a bidding war with the Church of Scientology to buy the other building, and there was no chance that a private music college was going to beat the Church of Scientology.
Well, that's the thing about Scientology is that they own like billions of dollars of real estate
and people
across the United States. It's so insane. It's hard to compete with money and land.
That's their stat. They call themselves the largest growing church. Yeah, when you can buy a ton of land, you're growing tons and tons. But anyway. So I went to that school thinking I'd do the associate's degree in production. Great. Took a whole bunch of classes, got stuff transferred. At the end of my 2-year degree, they started to offer the bachelor's degree. So I'm like, all right, I'll stick around for the bachelor's degree in production. A lot of the curriculum there overlapped with their audio engineering degree as well as their live sound degree. And since I had transfer credits, I also worked there. I also stuck around for summer semesters. I took full loads throughout. I figured out on my own, if I'm taking full-time credits every semester of my life for 4 years here, I can get 3 degrees.
Hey.
So that's what I did.
3 more and you got Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees.
Yeah, see,
you're not confusing me. I'm not that young.
Well, no, see, here's the best part is that if this was radio, it would be like, oh, well, that was great. Thanks for Veronica Rodriguez coming in. But no, this is a podcast, so we can just bullshit for another 50 minutes. It's great.
And you can say bullshit.
Yeah.
and not get in trouble for it.
Now, so we'll fast forward this a little bit. How did you get to KFAN or iHeart?
Here's what happened.
Yeah.
I graduated from college in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I was constantly looking at Craigslist, any kind of job posting thing, because I was working
Masseu's $50, no questions asked.
No questions answered either. Always looking for something to do. I was working the bar, church, live sound circuit, the kind of thing that would give you like $50 a night, $75 a night. If you were really lucky, $100 a night. And I was doing that while I was in school.
Yep.
But had I not done that, I wouldn't have ended up with the experience that I do now. So I don't regret it at all. But I spent a year doing that, and then on Craigslist, up pops this job for a recording engineer. It didn't say anything about the Vikings. It didn't say anything about all the perks of the job. It just said, we need a radio engineer, an audio engineer for this, and this. And I thought, well, radio, I did an internship in school for radio for like 3 months. I don't know if I'm qualified. I almost didn't apply for it because I'm not qualified.
So it easily, just as easily could have been like a Prairie Home Companion as the Vikings game.
Correct.
Wow.
The exact same thing.
Yeah.
But so I was like, well, whatever. The worst they can do is tell me no. This was the year that the dome collapsed because I remember I remember it so clearly, submitting my resume, and the next day I woke up to leave to work and I saw the video of the dome collapsing. I'm like, oh my God.
That's God saying no.
Scott saying, don't spend 5 years of your life doing this. No, it was great. I applied. I got a call. Well, not a call, an email. And went in for the interview. And my boss there had told me that he had somebody else picked out on paper.
Yep.
But he saw my resume and was like, I want to find out about these 3 degrees in 4 years.
Wow.
And he said, but I called you in for the interview, and then I met you. And I was like, yeah, you're more social than the average Unabomber type engineer guy. I stole that from Brian Oak, by the way.
I do feel that sound engineers are like mad geniuses to a degree where it's like, just leave me alone. I got this figured out. I'm like obsessed with this.
Yeah.
Maybe it ties in well with the video games.
They're mad geniuses who know that they're mad geniuses, and that's why they have that demeanor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm super social.
I don't want to say like on the spectrum, but it's in the vicinity. You know what I mean?
If that was the case, maybe I'd be able to count cards, but I can't.
No.
Going to Vegas next week, I really wish that I could count cards.
Oh, look at you. Oh, going to Vegas with a power trip.
Yes.
Oh, so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you didn't know what I was talking about. I'm going to have to tell them that.
I'm kind of a space cadet when it comes to things.
And sometimes. Honestly, I don't blame people who aren't up at 5:30 to listen to the radio.
Oh, I'm up at 5:30. I don't know what I do.
Don't you have a kid?
Yeah.
That's probably the buzzkill, no?
No, she's pretty awesome, though. She sleeps until 7.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Dang, how old is she?
She is 20.
Oh, my God. You go
months.
by the months?
No. Well, no, here's the thing. I absolutely hate it when people say their kid's age in months, but I think you have to do it until 2 because there's a big difference between 1 and 2, you know?
1 and a half, 2.
But, I could just say 1.5. Thank you. I'm going to do that. But it's annoying as hell when someone says, little Jaden is 39 months. Your kid is 3.
I don't math. What is that in years?
3 years, 3 months.
I wasn't asking seriously.
No.
That would be my response to the kind of parent who's like, my kid's 40-some months old.
Yeah.
Why?
And here's the thing. We've completely removed gluten and peanuts and peaches from his diet. Is he allergic to those things? No, but you can't be too careful.
I made treats for my neighbors for Christmas, and as soon as I delivered them, I was like, what if their kids have peanut allergies? Is this the kind of thing that I'm supposed to ask as the one person on the block without little kids?
See, peanut allergies, all right, we're going to go down this rabbit hole. I feel like are a first world invention because
they are.
I think it was something on 60 Minutes where a reporter was covering this humanitarian story where they're able to feed starving African children with this crude, like peanut-based protein paste, right? And so the 60 Minutes reporter goes over there, is like, what about peanut allergies? And then this doctor looked at her like she was the stupidest person ever. He's like, peanut allergies? They're starving. They don't have peanut allergies.
He probably gave her the same look that my dad would give her. Like, what? What? Allergic to what?
Yeah.
Food? No, we eat what we need to eat, what there is available to eat. Well, Anyways, I know you didn't want to go off on that tangent.
No, it's good. One last thing. So Daniel Tiger is one of the daughter's favorite shows, right? And except today, his episode was he had a peach allergy. I didn't even know that was a thing. How can you be allergic to peaches?
That's not a thing.
And I Googled it. Apparently it is, but it seems made up.
Everything that you can Google right now is made up. Everything that anyone is allergic to right now is made
Besides, peaches are delicious. Who is allergic to a friggin' peach?
I'm not allergic to anything. And I feel it as if I would die if I was allergic to anything.
I used to be allergic to shrimp, and then I got over it, unlike Adrian, which shows I'm a better human being. Well, yeah, and other things. Anyway.
It's a low standard to meet.
No. Anyway, so you got to do Vikings games, which is awesome.
Yeah, I found out on my first day that Vikings games was part of the gig, and I thought, okay, well, that's overwhelming for someone with no radio experience. Sure, I'll try it. The dude before me had done my job for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to anybody to document anything, like the way he was doing things on all the gear and everything like that. So I kind of had to figure it out myself. I got his phone number. I sent him a text message. I'm like, hey, dude, if I give you a bottle of Jameson, will you come show me what you do?
I feel like audio text, there's probably a lot of little like idiosyncrasies, like things that you like could do yourself, but it's hard to explain.
Yeah, and there are, and especially because nothing was clearly labeled. Like when I left everything documented and labeled.
Yep.
And color-coded.
Yep.
But, I mean, he showed up, took about 45 minutes, and in our little tool shop area, set it up and was like, here's how everything works. Here's who you need to contact to get frequencies. Here's who you need to contact to get your stuff shipped. Here's the Vikings equipment guy's number. You're going to want to get with him about getting your stuff on the plane. Okay. So I'm sitting there writing all this stuff down. One time. The following week, I was in Tennessee for my first Vikings game.
Oh, wow. All right, so that was a preseason game, right?
It was a preseason, yeah.
Okay.
So I started in the summertime, May of 2011. So I got through the summer and got to start preseason in August.
Oh, you got to see the Donovan McNabb dynasty.
I did. I flew on the plane right next to him, and he was the one. I will remember this till the day I die. He said, because I was nervous. I had never been on a plane before either. And he said, don't be nervous, stars don't fall out of the sky. He totally stole that from La Bamba. Have you seen that movie?
Richie Valens?
Yeah,
that one?
He totally stole that from La Bamba. That's where I heard that, because apparently Buddy Holly said that to Richie Valens, and then they died.
Oh.
Well, we didn't, but...
Yeah, well,
but yeah, so Donovan
yeah.
McNabb was there for a little bit. He had a giant beard. So yeah, that was the main excitement of the gig.
Wait, so he's going to steal a line from a Mexican icon and relay it to this little Mexican lady? Yeah.
Look at me, man. Are you seriously going to steal a line from a movie that I've clearly seen?
Except also, he didn't know that game's going to end in a tie, so whatever.
This is true.
Also, he gets like 8 DUIs. I don't know. I want to throw the guy under the bus.
You certainly can. It's not like you can't do that with most of these guys.
Well, he lives around here. Like, he lives in Wayzata or something like that.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's weird.
Maybe because nobody cares.
It's very possible.
I think that's the explanation for why.
I think like occasionally he'll just show up at like the Lifetime Fitness up there or like at McDonald's and just like, oh, hey,
Lifetime.
Oh, hey, Don McNabb. Give me your favorite travel story.
Oh man, I've got a bunch of those.
Were you on the plane ride back from Seattle? I think it was preseason, like last year, 2 years ago, where they almost died, like turbulence.
There were a couple of them that had. You want turbulence stories? That's what you want?
I know. Just give me. Well,
there was the one
story.
last year where they slid off the runway because of.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't me.
No, that was planned because the Appleton freaking airport.
Yeah. But yeah, when there was, I was on the plane for that. Well, I couldn't go to road games any other way. We always flew with the team.
Yeah.
Two of them stand out. That one when we were coming back from Seattle, and one when we were coming back from Atlanta. I get the two confused because they were equally terrifying for me, especially for somebody who had never been on a plane until 2011. There was crazy turbulence the whole way, and then we passed the airport to turn around to come in and fly into the wind, which feels so much faster than you're actually going. So we flew over downtown Minneapolis, which we hadn't done before. Somehow we were always coming from a different direction. So we're flying over the city, And I can see, based on how fast the buildings are flying past us, that we're going super freaking fast. And I'm terrified. Like, Greg Coleman's sitting there praying, the rosary in his hand and stuff. And Paul Allen's got his head down.
No, see, Greg Coleman praying wouldn't deter me. It'd be like, oh, yeah, I guess it is 11 o'clock.
And I was told, pay attention to the flight attendants. And when the flight attendants sat down and started buckling themselves in, I'm like, oh, my God, what's happening right now? Why?
I love that the flight attendants have the little seat where, like, the little flap down.
Tiny seat.
And it looks like they're buckled into a baby Bjorn, like against the bulkhead.
That's exactly what it looks like. But so when I saw that, I immediately got terrified. And we did one of those, like, double, triple landings where you hit the ground, you come back up, you hit the ground again, you kind of
like you're
turn a little bit.
Skipping a rock across the lake.
You kind of turn a little bit. The wing almost looks like it hit the ground, but it didn't, because I guess they're very flexible wings. Yeah, I was on that plane. That sucked.
Now, is that a private, like, team charter, or do they just charter out from, like, Delta or something?
They charter from Delta. So it's your standard Delta plane. Bigger planes during the preseason, obviously, because we have extra people on there. There's usually, like, a seat between everybody, a chip seat.
Now, what's the obviously there's a difference between coming back from a win and a loss, but, like, what's the temperature of the room in both of those situations?
It's the same.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of one time that there was a little bit of concern, and that was when Percy Harvin got on the plane with really bad cramps. So there was Gatorade flying everywhere. He couldn't sit on the seats properly. He needed one of those little cushions. But no, I hate to say it, but they don't give a shit. They do not.
That's my thing. Like, fans get so pissed off when if you lose a last-second game to your rival, then at midfield, they're still the guys are getting together, smiling, they're giving each other daps, they're switching jerseys and stuff. Like, guys understand it's just a game.
It's a game. Like, you can't let that get into your head. That's the difference between playing a sport and having your average job. You get in trouble at your average job, there's a likelihood that you're going to get, like, written up or you could end up getting fired. It's not the same. It's not the same in sports. Yeah, it never affected them. If anything affected the players at all before and or after flights, it's temperature differences. When we would get off the buses to get on the plane and it was 40 below, people are screaming because you can like get on the plane. This is how they do it. You walk up the stairs to get in the plane and all the snacks are right there, so you can take your time grabbing some snacks to get to your seat. This is before dinner is served. And people were like, no, shut up. Leave the treats there. You don't need a Nutri-Grain bar. Just get to your seat. Let us on. Because everybody's waiting on the steps to get in. I saw more effect there than oh, we just lost. Oh, well.
Yeah. Losing the last second of the Ravens, letting Joe Flacco march 80 yards in 45 seconds. Bye, Leslie.
Yeah, whatever.
What's the food situation like? What's the dinner like on the plane?
There's a menu, actually.
Ooh.
You get to pick usually between a red meat, a chicken, and a seafood. They all come with a side salad and a dessert.
Yep.
You get actual plates. And this was the thing.
Wow.
Like, I had never flown before this, so I knew nothing about commercial flying. So when I finally reached the point where I had to get on a commercial flight, I'm like, wait, there won't be peanut M&Ms on my seat and an apple juice and my name?
So you flew Spirit. Is like, oh, how much are the peanuts? Oh, $8. Oh, well, shit.
The peanuts cost something? What?
Yeah, I know. It's insane.
You don't have my choice of M&Ms and or gum or anything. Basically, they'd have little bags of grapes and stuff.
I don't get to sit next to Michael Jenkins.
I always sat next to either Paul, Pete Bursich, who's also our neighbor.
Oh, I know that.
Or Greg. There was one time that I inexplicably ended up way far up in the front seats, and I think I was, who was I near? I was near Rick Spielman. And that was the day that I chose to watch Magic Mike on the on the little screens because you can watch the movies for free. They didn't charge you anything.
Well,
Magic Mike XXL came out.
Rick seems like a pretty conservative, pretty religious guy, but you know that he was like watching that movie, kind of like just grabbing a peek.
Rick was my homie. He wouldn't try to censor what I watched.
Yeah.
And plus, he knew me somewhat off of always being on Paul's show and stuff, so he'd always have to chill with me beforehand. Yep. I think he knew better than to try to censor what I watch.
Lesson, give me a good PA story. What's your favorite one?
Oh, man. PA was not pleased when I decided to leave. Did you hear the show at training camp on my last day?
I remember waving at you because I was.
Oh, that's right. You were actually at training camp.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have heard it. He did the entire first segment, him and Wabi, because Wabi was always on these trips with us. The entire first segment was talking about having me there for 5 years.
Yep.
So, of course, that's going to be my favorite because, like, he doesn't do that for just anybody. But you end up becoming like family when you have to actually travel together. And I have to, not have to, but I would always kind of take care of them throughout the broadcast portion of the games and stuff because is your volume okay? Do you sound okay to yourself? Do you need this? This booth is really small. Maybe Wabi can sit back there. So I guess that would be my favorite.
See, travel and like being in close confines, that's very polarizing. Like you either love each other at the end or absolutely hate each other. Yeah.
Right, and that I can totally understand his concern when I started because it's like, this is a new person. I've had the same person for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's a new person. It's a chick. It's the NFL. Can she handle this? And I think after the first couple of preseason games, he understood that not only could I handle it, I could hang, and they needed to be able to handle some stuff too.
Yeah.
Because I say some pretty sketchy shit pretty often. I say and do some pretty sketchy shit. So it was like they had to understand what they could and couldn't say around me, which basically they could say anything and there wasn't anything that they couldn't say around me. And I think that's the vibe you need to have.
Yeah.
Because there's other girls that do this, I'm sure, maybe not for the NFL, but there's other girls that do this line of work. And I'm like,
wait, what do you mean do some sketchy shit? Did you like steal their identity? Like take PA's mail?
Not theirs. I saw Blair Walsh naked.
That is a thing. I feel like that would be okay. I feel like most ladies definitely see that Blair had things going on well.
Blair and I wear the same size shoe.
Yeah, I mean, besides being a hobbit, I mean, he's got a six-pack at least.
I didn't see all that.
We'll just leave it at that. I'm trying to think of which PA calls you were there for. So you missed out on 09.
I got the Greenway pick six for 91 yards at TCF Bank Stadium. I re-listened to that what was it, 2 weeks ago? AJ posted it, and I re-listened to it and watched it on YouTube at the same time, and I started crying. Because I loved Chad Greenway. Yeah. He was such a good dude. He gave me advice on what to do with my knee because I had a knee injury, and it was like, here, go see this guy. Don't even worry about it. This is who you should see. I was there when Adrian tore his ACL.
Oh, Washington?
Yeah, in D.C. That stadium was so quiet that you could, like, hear him yelling from the press box. Let's see what else. I was there for a lot of Cordarrelle returns.
Yeah.
Which I'm a little bit sad that he left, but because he was a sweet dude too. He offered to carry my bags up the stairwell once. I said, "No, dude, I got it. Go." Yeah, there's a lot of guys leaving this year.
Did you ever get hit on by the players, or did they know better, or they find out to know better?
I never got hit on. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know what the reason is, but I have a feeling that it's my demeanor. It was always when I show up to work, it's very much I'm here to do my job.
Yep.
Don't even bother trying. And I think a lot of people would back me up on that. Your demeanor is not very, let's hit on you.
Well, no, you seem very sweet. You got a great smile, but also I could see, like, if you're in work mode, definitely put on the Batman RBF.
And I don't have a starstruck face, I guess. Like, I didn't care who you were.
Yep.
If I have to put a microphone on you, I'm probably going to reach up your shirt and put a microphone on you.
Yep.
And it never got that way with them. It's like they knew that I'm there to work and nothing else. The two that I got the closest to actually chat with and get to know a little bit were Chad Greenway and Brian Robinson. Yep. Brian Robinson and I did have a lingerie talk once, but it was because he swore up and down that women who have more than 100 pair of underwear are strippers. And I'm like, listen, dude, Victoria's Secret sends out those little coupons like every month for a free pair of panties. Are you going to just say no? I have more than 100.
But I mean, both can be true. Like the Venn diagram can overlap. right?
Yeah, the circles probably intersect at some point, but not in my case. So I want to at least throw that out there to him.
Well, in Minnesota,
he probably doesn't use coupons often, least of all Victoria's Secret coupons.
He probably uses it on bait. I mean,
this is true. I don't even think he needs coupons for bait.
I get 3 pounds of grubs for $1.99. That's amazing. I'm in. Now, see, Minnesota women, like the only lingerie you can have is you have to have a teddy. I feel like that should be a thing.
Is that like the little silky lace dress things?
Yeah. Like the old school, I think, like 1930s on like bedroom wear, like pajamas. It just fits in with the teddy motif. You can't have any Sams. You can't wear a Sam.
This is true.
Yeah.
Don't those usually have like some kind of lace or something stupid itchy on them? I mean, I suppose the whole point of lingerie is that it's not for comfort.
And it's not going to be on for long. I mean, it can be made out of wool. Like that was appealing.
Steel wool.
Or if like in a war and like there's rationing on silk. Come on, baby. Steel wool lingerie. It won't be on you long. We'll use it to scrub out the sink later.
Yeah. No, that was the most intimate type of conversation I ever had with a player. They never got like that with me.
That's both surprising and also really awesome that they were very respectful of like boundaries and stuff, because
they knew. And like I said, I saw Blair Walsh naked. That was 100% an accident.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't in the parking lot.
No, it was in the locker room. Smart ass. It was in the locker room in Green Bay because the only way out to the buses is through the locker room. And the equipment manager would always tell them if I was at the door, Veronica's coming, everybody cover up. He was in the shower at the time, so he didn't hear the announcement.
Oh, so you're like the lady beat reporter.
Well, yeah, and because every once in a while, if there was a problem with Greg Coleman's stuff down there, I'd have to go down there to fix it. Like there was nobody else. I can't send someone else down there to do it. So I could be down there. I was always respectful and kept my eyes somewhere near what I needed it to be at.
You know, when we played basketball, like the coach would get us these glasses that had like it was like the lens was folded down, so like you couldn't look down. It was a very weird looking thing.
To see the ball?
It was like normal. It was so that you wouldn't look at the ball when you're dribbling. I feel like they should have got you that for the locker room, or like you couldn't look down.
No, I would not have worn those.
Which is fair. Yeah.
If there was anything that was like, oh, here, in order for you to do your job, you have to wear these. Excuse me, asshole. You're not going to tell me how to do my job.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit if they're naked behind me. If I have something going wrong in my broadcast, that's my priority.
Yeah.
Maybe you're used to other chicks who would maybe start looking instead of doing their job, but that's not me.
What's the biggest on-air script that you've had?
Well, I don't spend a lot of time on air, but I have an almost on-air screw-up because I had a pretty stellar record. But, again, cursed Green Bay. This is the worst story that I have.
Well,
it was
they just got electricity 15 years ago.
It was the one that I believe got me the closest to having a heart attack. And this is the one that I told at my job interview for MPR. They were like, okay, what's the worst thing you've ever had to troubleshoot? In Green Bay, my mixer, like the one you have there, only substantially larger.
And better.
Not quite. Same brand.
Oh.
The power supply broke, the inner power supply. So I plugged in the IEC cable, plugged it into power.
Yep.
Nothing. Dead.
Oh.
I kind of need that because I have like 20 channels of audio coming in between the microphones, the wireless microphones, the communication back and forth, the feed from TV with all the parabolic sounds, the referee mic, the crowd mics and stuff like that. So I got tons of channels of stuff. I can't just suffice with the 8-channel mixer or something like that. Dead. So it's 7 a.m. Sunday morning game day. Can't just go to Guitar Center. I'm in freaking Green Bay, Wisconsin. I can't call the guys at KFAN to bring me one because it's 4 hours away. So I start texting people that I've gotten to know over the years, the Green Bay Packers audio engineer, the TV guys that I know are there because I think it was an NBC game. And someone finally said, okay, well, we have a rack-mounted mixer that you can plug into, but it's kind of useless unless you have an iPad. Guess what, bitch? I have an iPad.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, what kind is it? It's Behringer X32. Okay, so it's on the other side of the stadium. We'll bring it to you. Mm-hmm. All the while, PA is kind of losing it. He's like, all right, are we going to have a broadcast or are we not going to have? There is never an option to not have the football broadcast. Like, that's the moneymaker for iHeart.
Yeah, that's how people mute their TVs and then listen to PA.
Oh, kind of, depending on who your cable provider is.
Yeah.
But, so it's coming to me from the other side of the stadium. I'm Googling the manual. I'm like, okay, here's the app. I download the app. By the time it got there, I had already built my little show, and it wasn't working at the time. I'm like, oh, my God, I have everything built here. I'm like, I can't hear anything. Nobody can hear themselves. And finally, I hit one button that was like a solo clear button. I think something was soloed by accident because it's touchscreen iPad. I hit the solo clear button, and boom, everybody could hear themselves. And PA's like,
hallelujah.
Oh, my God, I can hear myself. Yup, that's it.
Now, just in my limited experience with this smaller mixer, I feel like sound mixing is a lot like, like computer coding, where if like one little thing is messed up, like the entire thing doesn't work.
This is true. I'm actually kind of flattered that you compare that to computer coding because I've tried computer coding. I don't have that.
It's tough. Ooh, or like like the old school Christmas lights where like one bulb was out, like the entire thing wouldn't work. You never knew which bulb it was.
But for some reason, that bulb wasn't working, and this side of the string of lights wasn't working.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so happy that they've moved on from that. But that was my biggest almost on-air screw-up. I've had a couple of connections drop, but a lot of it has never been my fault. But
we lost an affiliate in Fargo.
True.
Yeah.
Had that broadcast not happened, it would have 100% been not my fault because because it was a power supply. I can't control that. But at the same time, it would have 100% been on my shoulders because I couldn't figure out something else.
Do you ever travel with backup gear? Like, how redundant was the gear?
It wasn't. I was going to say that would require buying backup gear, and that wasn't exactly in the budget.
Oh, so you didn't even have like an extra headset in case one went out?
An extra headset, yeah. The little stuff like that costs $150, but not like a mixer that costs $1,000 or something like that.
I feel like you should just have like an army of like quarter-inch cables and whatnot just lying around.
Cables, there were cables aplenty.
Yeah.
But the actual pieces of gear, I'd always ask for some, and none would appear. Imagine that. So
the move to MPR, what spurred that?
The move to MPR happened because I went to an alumni thing years ago, and one of their main audio engineers that runs Studio M, they always post videos, and they put out a couple records there. I met him there, and we had drinks together, and he told me what he does. I told him what I do, but he hit me up on Facebook and was like, here's this job posting. I think you'd love this. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, I don't think I can apply for it. I signed a non-compete. But it kind of seems like they exercise that when they want to. Because I've seen it exercised and I've seen it not exercised. So I was like, all right, let me just apply and see what happens. And same thing happened. I had a Skype interview with my current supervisor, and then I had a regular interview with my supervisor, and he was like, "Yeah, we want to hire you. I don't know how else to say it. We want to hire you."
And we're gonna leave that as a cliffhanger there because we just had some deliciousness show up. What'd you get? I
got the classic Juicy Lucy.
Classic, just like NPR. Bam. And I got the Breakfast Lucy, as always. Blue Door Pub, come on down. All through Lent every Friday. Oh, my God. Fish fry every single Friday. $12 all you can eat cod and $14 pitchers of Indeed. B-side Pilsner. Get both, and you get entered in a drawing. You can win some cool stuff, like a Patagonia vest. It's pretty awesome. Or 2 nights at Chase on the Lake in Walker, Minnesota. Picturesque. I still don't know where that is, but it sounds really awesome. So you should do that. Fish Fry is at Longfellow and University on Como, or visit all 3 Twin Cities locations. Why not? TheBDP.com. All right, we're back with more with Veronica Rodriguez. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Purple for the Win podcast with Andy Carlson. Come to you all off-season long, covering free agency, the draft, OTAs, and then we're on to training camp. Get the show on 1500 ESPN, Podcast One, and the Podcast One app. And coming back into the Blue Door Pub Studios. And, hey, if you want to get your ass down here to all 3 locations, get down here at Lyft, bullshow.co/Lyft, LYFT. Download the app, $15 off your first couple of rides. I did it, getting down to the Target Center on Friday since there's a zoo down there for the stupid Warriors game. But, hey, you should too, bullshow.co/Lyft, LYFT, in case you can't spell. Veronica Rodriguez, MPR, sitting in. Hey.
Hey.
I noticed you drink wine with a straw.
Well, I was trying to drink it out of the glass, but this microphone kind of gets in the way, so I had to do the side swipe.
My shoddy little microphone. And I actually...
Shoddy little microphone? No, we just bought some of these to send down to South by Southwest.
See, now, I was a little nervous because, like, I'm a audio novice, and you're... All right, so this is like basketball terms. I would be Donovan McNabb playing basketball, which he did at Syracuse before he got fat. And then you would be like... You'd be like LeBron-ish as far as like audio, yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah, so I was actually kind of nervous, like busting out my stupid little gear and then trying to set things up. And then I was looking over. I'm like, I was waiting for you to look like.
I noticed you didn't put anything tabletop. You put it on the chair so that like I couldn't see it the whole time.
That's why I do.
Because then I would reach over and mess with it. That's like one of my things. But no, you did good. I mean, especially for something like this, you don't need anything super gigantic, and it's expandable. Like I told you, that mixer that you have can also operate as a control surface for Pro Tools if you ever want to drop $1,000 on a audio recording software.
I don't know what Pro Tools is, but I'll think about it.
I just said it's an audio recording software.
Oh, well, guess I should have listened.
It's the industry standard. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know.
I got you. How's your burger?
Burger was bomb. Like I was afraid to bite into it at first because I've burnt my face on stuff before.
Yeah. Curling irons.
Flat irons also. Hair straighteners, is that what they call them?
I don't know. Like I feel like if I was a girl, I would just go YOLO with it. Like wherever my hair dries, I just go.
I have this hat because the hat equals I did nothing with my hair today.
Yeah. I feel like it's too much maintenance.
The food was pretty good, and thank goodness you guys told me about the Cajun fries because I would have just ordered regular fries, and I'm more of the Cajun ilk.
Oh.
I like stuff that has the spice.
The well-known Mexican Cajun connection. I feel like that should be a restaurant. Like, there's so many fusion restaurants, like Chino Latino.
Cajun connection?
Give me the Cajun Mexican.
Cajun Mexican?
Yeah.
Like Cajun is so broad as it is between Southern and Creole.
Like a pozole jambalaya.
Pozole jambalaya would be good. It's pozole. 3 syllables.
Oh, sorry. So not mole?
Not mole.
Not mole?
Mole soup.
Yeah. Now,
oh, my God. That would totally be taken the wrong way, and you'd be in trouble with PETA immediately.
I'm kind of over it. All right, so nothing I don't want to say infuriates, but it annoys me more than when, like, people who are not of a culture, like, really try hard to use the proper pronunciation.
Yeah, that's so precious.
Just be the ugly American. Don't say Chipotle or say Barcelona or whatever it is, wherever you are.
I hear Chipotle all the time. Yeah. It's like, I understand that you're American, but you can read that the L does not come before the T.
Yeah, and even if you try to pronounce it correctly, you'll butcher it anyways. So just completely go ugly American on the bit.
Quesadilla?
Y'all got any quesadillas around here?
What's
up, Chief?
Have you had the quesadilla that they have at Hy-Vee? The chicken quesadilla?
No.
It's right next to the sushi joint.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know the sushi joint in Hy-Vee.
I figured if I told you where the sushi joint was, you'd know what I'm talking about. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
Their quesadilla is really good. And they asked if I wanted pico in it. I said, no gracias.
Oh. Ooh.
Which means no thank you, if you didn't.
Well, I was going to try and work out my like stupid pig Spanish that I learned from high school. So,
Sweet.
All right. Chenga tu madre porque ella es muy fácil y fea.
Muy what and fea?
Fácil?
Easy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't understand your pronunciation.
Oh.
That's what you learned in high school? Did you go to my high school?
No, because I don't have really shank wounds. Like no
Well,
one,
you
no one
should,
stuck
with
me with
that
a
kind of language.
sharpened toothbrush.
You say that to the wrong guy in my high school, and you would immediately have shank wounds.
Mi cerveza es muy grande porque yo bebo mucho.
Aw.
I should work on this. I feel like Spanish is very important.
Did somebody tell you that means your mother's very beautiful or something? Because what it actually means is my beer is really big because I drink too much.
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know of a lot of people, including myself, that I will tell people, this is what this means. Go say it to someone, and just sit there and spectate and maybe Facebook Live when they get their ass beat because they said something stupid to the wrong person. It's so much fun to know another language because you can get so many people into so much shit and just be there to take credit for it.
Well, see, here's my thing. I feel like I should work on my Spanish because if I ever go to prison in Minnesota, like the Asian population probably isn't too big.
And the bad hombres are all up in there.
Yeah, and like I understand that in prison it's definitely clear cut along racial lines. So since I'll be on an island out there with, well, pardon the pun, with no Asians out there, but so I'll have to like try and work in with the Mexicans because maybe I can like.
That would be your best bet. Try to say that you're Filipino because that's basically Hispanic.
Hey, there you go.
That's pretty much Hispanic because Manny Pacquiao is basically Hispanic.
Well, I'll take on a Filipino name like Ferdinand.
Or Manny.
Or
just say that your name is Manny Pacquiao. People will believe you because they'll be like, "Oh, well, he was retiring when I came in when I went into the joint, so he must have just gotten fat."
And Manny, what happened to your face? Oh, I got punched too much.
Floyd Mayweather, man. Floyd Mayweather touched it.
So boxing, and then we'll get into like more radio stuff. But I want to get into some sports, cram that in here. So boxing,
sports
big boxing.
That you don't know that much, because I watch combat sports. You watch more football.
I'm trying to get into combat sports.
I gave you some names that you had never heard before.
It's more interesting than hockey.
Boxing is 100% more interesting than hockey, and it's also a lot quicker than hockey. You don't have to invest as much of your life into watching boxing as you do into hockey.
I'm not really up to date with the like modern boxers, except for the highlights, like Manny and Mayweather and the Klitschko brothers, right? Except I'm
so happy you said that.
Yeah. So I am very interested in like the old school fighters like Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard and Frazier Ali, George Foreman.
Yeah.
George Foreman was a nasty ass dude back in the day.
And have you made burgers on his grill?
I have, because I'm an American who was in college, so yes, I've had a George Foreman grill.
Yeah, George Foreman was bomb. I don't think that boxing would have had as quick of a fallout as it did had more boxers continue to be that way.
Yep.
Because they were there to fight, not just to box. I mean, boxing is, they call it the sweet science because it is a science. There's the defense and the offense. More often than not, nowadays you're seeing more defense when people want to see offense. That's why UFC has become so popular. There's an immediate payoff. You see blood, you see cuts, you see people going to the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder to watch something like, I heard you guys talking in a previous show about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, and why are people so mad about it? Because it was boring.
Pissed.
Yeah, because it was boring to the average person.
People were expecting the average person who isn't a boxing fan is like, oh, this is going to be like Tyson Holyfield.
Yeah, and I fully didn't expect that going into it, but that was because I was already familiar with the way both of them boxed.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather was not going to get risky and take his chances with someone like Manny Pacquiao. I mean, I don't think anybody knew that he was hurt beforehand, that Manny Pacquiao was hurt beforehand.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going to just get reckless and be like, okay, well, I'm going to put my perfect record at risk to put on a show. A show is not, he was going to make the money whether he put on a show or not.
Yeah.
It's called Floyd Money Mayweather for a reason. So I expected that kind of a fight. It was very tactical. Watching it and practicing boxing myself as a sport, I think that kind of thing is fascinating to watch, but I can fully understand that the average person would not see what I see in that kind of fight.
Oh, yeah. You're
amateurs.
You're starting to get into boxing a little bit, too.
Only amateurs. I may or may not, depending on how my vacation time starts, because I've only been at MPR since August.
Okay.
I may or may not be able to do a tournament this summer.
Oh, so you're actually going to, like, fight?
Yeah, I've done it before. It's the same tournament that I did a couple years ago, but I was hoping to probably get into a lower weight class this year because there's more people in it. Like, when you have to put together a fight bracket and there's, like, 6 girls in your weight division, there's not much to do. Yeah. But when you're in a division where there's, like, 12 to 15, maybe even 20 girls, better odds and better chances at getting more fights during the tournament.
Yep.
But no, so when I'm watching something like Mayweather-Pacquiao, I'm like, that's what I need to know how to do. I mean, granted, in amateurs, it's like, especially for the girls, it's 3 2-minute rounds. Can't do too much in it.
Yep.
In professionals, it's 12 3-minute rounds.
Yeah. So you got to work better on dodging and shucking
Dodging
and jiving.
dancing. Yeah, dodging and dancing. And for older fighters like Muhammad Ali, he was really good at dancing around and dodging stuff. Heavyweights then look way different from heavyweights now. So now you mentioned the Klitschko brothers.
Yeah.
Those guys are the only heavyweights aside from like Tyson Fury, who took the belt from Vladimir Klitschko. Those are the only guys that actually look like ripped up still and make that weight, as opposed to the guys that have their beer gut and make that weight and gas out by like the 4th round.
Yeah, people forgetting like Ali's day, heavyweight boxers all look like Butterbean. And they just look like tanks, like land ships
and
out there.
And they moved like tanks.
Yeah.
Like if you compare the pace of boxing now to those old footage of old fights, those dudes moved so slow. Like you can see what's happening, you can see what's coming, but there was so much power behind there, and they were just throwing it. They were kind of reckless, and that's why boxing was such an entertaining sport then. It's not anymore.
Like Foreman when he was 44, when he got that one punch in that shocked. Who was that against? It was some younger fighter, but it was. I could look it up because there's a machine that could access all information in the known universe. So I'm too lazy. But yeah, George Foreman at 44, fat, bald guy, and was it Michael Moore?
That's a filmmaker.
No, Michael Moore. But yeah, it was like in the 5th round, he got this one shot in and just like took him out, because they do say with boxers the last thing that goes is your punch, and that's sometimes all it takes is that one shot, which is why I'm sort of hopeful for the McGregor-Mayweather fight.
That's not. There's no way that is going to happen.
It's got to happen. There's too much money.
And if it does, it's a gimmick, and the decision will be made beforehand, who wins and who doesn't, and it'll be for money. Like there's no. I order pay-per-view fights often. like there's no names like this weekend, Gennady Golovkin. You think of him as a no name, I think of him as a superstar.
Yeah.
I'm buying that fight. I would not buy the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I'd happily look on Twitter and be like, oh, yeah, Mayweather won. Great.
Yeah, Mayweather won in a decision after 12 rounds. Yay.
It won't go to 12 rounds. If they decided to do a mixture of boxing, MMA, they'd probably max it out at 6 rounds.
Do you think they would do a mixture?
They can't pick a sport. They have to make a hybrid for the two of them.
I don't think Floyd's ever kicked.
But they have to make a hybrid, at least time-wise, for that to be equal, because of the fact that McGregor can kick and clinch and stuff like that. He has the endurance for that kind of thing. Yeah. I'm sure if he really wanted to and stayed on his feet, he could go 12 rounds with Mayweather, but that's assuming Mayweather wasn't like, this dude doesn't box, let me put him down.
Yeah. I know that the knock against Conor is that he has not fared well recently against strikers, and except my counter is that Floyd hasn't knocked anyone out in like 6 years.
When Conor McGregor lost to Diaz, he lost via choke.
Was it?
It wasn't a knockout. I mean, he was taking a good beating, but he tapped out on a choke.
I just remember early on in the fights, you can see that Conor, like when they're on their feet, was just taking it on the chin, for lack of a better term.
He has powerful punches. The problem is he has to get close enough to land them. Yep. Getting close enough to Floyd Mayweather, I believe, would be a very tough thing to do. But Floyd Mayweather hasn't knocked anybody out for a very long time.
I think it has to happen because there's too much money, and also being realistic, this would be the easiest fight that Mayweather could line up for his 50th win. Like, you have a non-traditional, you have a non-boxer, and it's going to be a gimmick. Conor would probably be like a 10 or 12 to 1 dog, but still, I think it'd be super interesting. It
would definitely make money because all the people that bought the pay-per-view or like went to somewhere and paid to get in to watch it, to watch Mayweather-Pacquiao, would watch it and be like, oh, great, exciting, because Conor McGregor's exciting. But like I said, I feel like that would be decided before
Here's how
it
you even
actually
it up.
happened.
Let Conor have one kick.
Let Conor kick him once.
One kick. You have no idea when it's coming. Just let one.
That's true. And the thing is, we don't know what Mayweather's chin is like because we haven't seen him get squarely hit for a very long time because his defense is so good.
Now, Mayweather's had hand issues before in the past, hasn't he?
I think most boxers have hand issues at some point or another. Manny's issue was a shoulder.
Yeah.
Mayweather's had a hand issue. It's usually his right, I think, because that's his power hand. A bunch of times.
Because
that I can remember.
I've got like heavy bagging some gear down in my basement. I've been doing some very recreational stuff, not even on your level of like punch stuff, and like learning how to wrap the hands, because that's the first thing that they warn you if you're getting into boxing or kickboxing is if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to break a bone in your hand, you're going to break your wrist pretty easily. So I take the wrapping and very seriously. And doesn't Floyd have issues with like he's got like soft bones or something like that, or am I just completely making that up?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it could be his bones. I can't imagine that it would be his wrapping, because he has professionals wrapping his hands. Yeah. But you know,
didn't get enough calcium as a kid.
He's already up there in age for a professional athlete. So, you know, after taking a beating for that, your hand's taking a beating for that long, not him necessarily. You know, your body wears out. That's how it works. You know, if you've been hitting things with your hands for so long, even just in training, I don't knock anybody for having hand injuries in a combat sport. And
just to wrap this up, I feel like so Conor, he's a lefty, and he's definitely not a traditional style boxer. Which, you know,
can he switch? Can he switch between southpaw?
Yeah, he's ambidextrous.
I was going to say, I thought I've seen him both ways.
And I just feel like the unorthodoxy, not the left-handed of this, but the unorthodoxy of Conor's overall style could just lead up to he could get one shot in, and that could be it.
Yeah.
And that would be amazing.
And then he'd have to live by his little motto of precision is better than, or timing is better than, or precision is better than timing, or precision is better than power. Whatever it was that he said when he knocked out Jose Aldo.
Why do you think MMA has gotten so much popularity?
Because it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's all out to begin with, and if you don't, there's more of a sense of urgency to get something done quickly, because a lot of those athletes don't, I don't want to say they don't train for endurance, but that's not their main thing. They don't think of it as 12 rounds. They don't think of it as 6 rounds. They think of it as, well, it might go 6 rounds, but I want to end it by this time.
I'm not going to lie. I love MMA fights, just like watching on YouTube where it ends in like 12 seconds.
Like a lot of the Ronda Rousey fights?
Yeah, like she just bum rushes the chick and gets her in an arm bar, and it's like, oh, it's done.
Yeah, when she can. Did you see her fight against Amanda Nunes?
Yeah, which is weird against like Holly and Nunes is that it's like, oh, hey, I'm really bad against strikers. I'm going to try and box these 2 chicks.
She should never have come back with an immediate title shot.
Yeah.
Especially since she lost to a good striker. And the thing about Holly is she came from boxing. She doesn't have as much of a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
She's careful. She's tactical. She tries to move around. She knows she has time, and she knows she can because she's trained for that before. So she's been on a losing streak since, because I think that's why, because she's too careful. She takes her time. She doesn't she doesn't bum rush people the way she should, and she can. But Amanda Nunes, that girl, oh my God, as soon as I saw her land her first jab, I was like, it's over. And that was only like 6 seconds in. I'm like, no, she's got her. She already landed on her.
Now, do you think it was hubris on the part of Rousey? It was like, oh, I'm going to try and beat this chick at her game as opposed to playing my game.
Against Holly?
Against Nunes.
No, I think she just never got a chance to take her down. Against Holly, I think that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
She thought that she had it in her head that she could strike. Her coach was telling her that she could strike. She could hit pads, and every single thing that I saw, every single video that I saw on Instagram, on YouTube of her training and stuff about how great her striking's gotten, she's hitting pads.
Yep.
Not a moving target. She's not moving her feet. You don't throw punch. You don't just sit in one spot and throw punches at something. The person in front of you moves. So when she started doing that against Holly, that was the first thing. I watched that fight with Chris Hockey on an iPad in Oakland, California, because we were there to play the Raiders. Hockey has UFC Fight Pass.
Yep.
So we're watching it on an iPad, like this big. And as soon as I saw her standing there, like squared up with Holly, I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna lose. She's gonna try. She's gonna try to box her. She can't. She can't box her. So, and Holly exposed all of her weaknesses. Like she can't move. She can't execute when someone is moving. I'm sure if she landed something, it would be powerful, but the person has to stand still like her coach was for her to be able to land something powerful. So in that case, I think it was hubris. I think it was drinking her own Kool-Aid. She knew that her hype was way up there, and she needed to deliver on it, and she wanted to say, I'm getting so much better. I'm well-rounded and all this stuff.
I think Ronda ever fights again.
I don't think she does, but I wish she would.
Which is weird because she had such a rise, and she had star power that transcended the sport, which is rare, and which is what's fringe sports. Well, I don't want to say fringe, but up and coming sports need to get into the zeitgeist, get into more of the public eye, like boxing and Tyson. Tyson wasn't really a great boxer. He was a great fighter. He was a great brawler, and like the whole knockout element of it, I feel like that sort of instant gratification really resonates with the average person. And boxing hasn't really had one of those in a long time.
Yeah, and that's why I say that I don't think she does, but I wish she would, because she obviously has the work ethic to be a top-notch athlete. She's medaled in the Olympics, and she had such a huge rise in MMA to begin with. So to show that you can come back from something like that just gives. She always wanted to. She was saying that she wanted to be a role model to girls.
Yep.
Bounce back from this kind of thing.
So I'm kind of worried about her minute. Like, she seems like a privately conflicted person. Like,
well, I mean, she's had some shit go down in her life.
Like her dad committed suicide, and
it was as a result of I think it was a sledding accident. He was sledding with the kids, and he broke his back and ended up dependent on pain medications. I read her book. So that kind of thing, I mean, I'm sure that's on her mind, and her mom's really freaking tough on her. And you see from her interviews that she's really tough on her and everything like that. But I think that's kind of made her the person that she is and the athlete that she is. And, it's okay to come out of stuff like that and have people be hard on you and deliver. There's nothing wrong with that. I know there's this mentality of the best thing to do with somebody is baby them and tell them that they're worth it. Tell them that they're good at this. Tell them that they're like the new coach for the Gopher football team.
Oh, PJ Fleck.
Oh my God! When I've heard his speeches, I'm like, this dude is young. He must be young. And this was before I knew that he was young. He's of the mind that motivation and telling people that they can is all it takes. That's not all it takes. You have to be told when you can and can't do something. You have to be given expectations, and you have to be told, listen.
But he eats difficult discussions for breakfast, or whatever it was.
Yeah. Or what's his thing? Row the boat?
Row the boat?
Nobody's rowing any fucking boat.
There's a land of 10,000 lakes. What are you talking about?
You're playing football. And if you choose to be an athlete in college or professionally, you can't be babied. You can't be motivationally spoken to. Like that's just not going to work for you. You have to be told either you're a man or you're not. Either you man up and take it or you don't. Either you do the work or you don't. And there's payoff to when you do the work.
I feel like this attitude can work with like 18, 19-year-old kids. Like this would never fly in the NFL, where it's much more of a professional thing.
It's going to have to soon because that's the age we're in.
But also, like it's very binary. Like the kids could get amped on the list, be inspired, and do what he's intended to do, or just walk all over him. Like one of the two.
Yeah, for sure. Like if that was my coach, I'd be like, what am I paying you for, dude? Yeah. You're here to tell me, no, I can't do it when I know that I can, so I can prove you wrong.
Yeah. When they're 1-7 and then going in to play Ohio State at the shoe, we're about family here. Forget about me. I love you. We're going to get beat by 50, except I love all of you guys out here.
There's no chance I keep a straight face through that coach's speech. There's no way. I'm actually going to work one of the Gopher football games April 15th.
Yeah. And, I've just...
Can't wait to see this guy.
I am intrigued, and also I like him because you can tell that's genuine. Like,
he believes that what he's saying to them is going to motivate them.
Like benefit of hindsight, but also at the time, like Tim Brewster, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you could tell from a mile away that was bullshit.
Yeah, and of course there's a such thing as being too hard on people. But you can't just be that easy on them and expect them to be able to deliver a good product.
Also, his wife is so hot.
Is she? I haven't seen her. Is she on Twitter?
She is super hot. Yeah, look her up, Heather Fleck. They got
is she Samantha Ponder hot?
hotter, but I have a thing for brunettes.
She's pregnant again, by the way, Samantha Ponder.
Is she?
I follow her on Instagram.
Oh, lucky you.
Yay.
Are you blocked by her on Twitter, like the rest of Minnesota?
No, like I've not ever been blocked by anybody on Twitter that I know of. I mean, I haven't really looked for anybody that might have blocked me.
I've been blocked by like a couple random people that I've never followed, interacted. Oh, like Tim Kawakami, who's like a writer for the San Jose Mercury News.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, I'm blocked by him. I never interacted with the dude.
Oh, no big deal. If you're blocked by him, nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, there you go. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little Vikings. So you're sad about Cordarrelle leaving?
I am, kind of. Personally, though, not because of the team thing. He was starting to rise up this year.
Yeah.
He was starting to row the boat this year, dude.
Yeah.
But when you start to try to do too many things in a contract year, maybe you're trying to show off, or maybe you're trying to get money that maybe you should have been trying to get the whole time.
Well, stood out to me is like he was essentially benched all of 2015.
Yeah.
They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. They drafted Treadwell. So it was kind of like, you're kind of out, dude.
And Treadwell is like another who?
Yeah.
Because he got drafted and then played a handful of times.
Well,
tops.
I still think that they were all in on Docs, and then Washington maneuvered around them.
Right.
And then they just sort of panicked and took whoever was left.
Yeah.
Which they should have took Sterling Shepard, but that's hindsight too.
Yeah, Cordarrelle was a good guy. I mean, seeing him on trips and on charters and seeing him play,
he's like a genuinely happy dude.
Yeah, and he definitely is. He always put a lot of effort into his looks whenever because you have to dress up for the plane because there's media around and stuff. He always put tons of effort into his look. He anytime he was on the radio and I was trying to put equipment on him and stuff, it was thank you, ma'am. I mean, I'm not that much older than him, but I appreciate when somebody refers to me as ma'am as opposed to thanks, dude, or something like that. He offered to carry my bags up the steps once when I decided to take the stairs to my hotel room. He was a good guy and definitely always happy. So when I found out that he was leaving, I was like, oh, well, that was abrupt, but whatever. I'm not there anymore, so I can only care so much.
Someone who's also probably leaving, Adrian. Thoughts?
Adrian can go. I mean, not because I have anything against him personally. A lot of the things that he's done off the field, sure, they're horrible, but who am I to judge, really? I mean, I've done sketchy shit. I've done stupid stuff. Everybody makes mistakes. You should have some awareness when you're in the public eye to begin with.
You've gone through like 17 rabbits in the year.
Truth. And all because my dogs have eaten them. So I'm an irresponsible pet parent, but no, it's
don't want to say Michael Vick, but maybe Marcus Vick.
Marcus Jerome Vick.
Marcus Jerome Vick
is the middle name, right? Yeah, I mean, in the time that I was with the Vikings, and it was only for 5 seasons, there was his record-breaking season in 2012. But since then, it was always, 1.5, maybe 2 yards, 3 yards per carry.
Well, it's the offensive line.
Yeah.
Veronica,
Yeah, no. You know who I was sad to see go was Matt Khalil. He was one of my favorites. I was there when he got drafted. He reminds me so much of my brother. Like, they have the same face. If my brother could grow that kind of beard, he would look like him. And I was there when the whole ripping the hat off the fan thing happened.
Yeah, that fan was a douchebag, though.
He absolutely was, and I can explain something here. I was leaving TCF Bank Stadium when that was happening. He genuinely was on his phone. He was walking out. And from what I can tell, I don't know him that well, but from what I can tell, he has a huge soft spot for kids.
Yep.
This person was popping off at the mouth, saying all kinds of stupid shit to him, and as soon as he started going in for the really bad swear words, Matt looked over and saw that there was a kid next to him. And you can see that in the videos. Like, there's a little kid next to him, and that was when all of a sudden it got his attention. He went over and ripped his hat off. Yeah. And I 100% believe in my heart that Matt did that because he's acting a fool in front of a kid. Have some respect.
That's like the least he could have done.
Yeah, I mean, you're gigantic. I maybe came up to his ribs if I'm standing next to him. He's a big dude. If he really wanted to beat dude's ass, he could.
He is a really sweet dude. Like, every interaction I've ever had with him, like in the media, it's always been very cordial. He's very soft-spoken, and also he does like a lot of like sort of under the radar stuff. Like, the media obviously has ripped him for years because of his play, rightfully so. But every year at Pyology in Mankato, he's like, hey, if you got media passes, come on in. We'll give you free pizza, which is awesome. And I feel like he's like Eddie Lacy talk has been today. Is like maybe Eddie Lacy doesn't love football. I feel like Matt Khalil doesn't love the game, except he was born 6'6", 310.
I said that since he got drafted. I'm like, this
Big
dude
brother
doesn't
loves
really
football.
This dude doesn't really give a shit about football, but he's made for it, so why not do it for a little bit? I feel like that's a businessman. Matt Khalil is a businessman, and I think that's what he is at heart. And for as long as he can play football. I'm happy to see that he's going to play with his brother. Maybe his brother will get something out of him that other people couldn't quite pull out. But you know, if he can go open businesses in Oakland now, make some Pyologies there, I'll go.
You know, the Khalil brothers are taking up about $23 million from the Panthers this year,
which is not bad.
Not bad.
Like, all right.
I think
they're set.
I think most guys do see this as a business proposition, and with salaries going up, I think that's the reason why players are starting to retire earlier now. It's not like the media keeps saying, "Oh, it's CTE." All these worries about CTE is like, no, these guys have, if they've been smart, have enough money where they can change their family tree for generations.
It's a legitimate concern, the concussion thing. I've had a concussion before. It's very, very unnerving. I didn't get it boxing. I got it snowboarding because I was stupid. I had a fall, but it was during finals week when I was in college, and
that's a good time to do it.
Yeah, I had this thing where like I could look at words on the page, I could read them out loud, but nothing was registering. And it's so concerning that you don't know if that's going to come back. So of course that's a legitimate concern.
Well, it's like, no, it's more of a lesson of like, what snowboarding is for white people, stupid.
Yeah, what the hell was I thinking? I don't belong in. I still to this day do not have an explanation from my dad why we are in Minnesota. Because he's from Monterrey, somewhere near Monterrey, Mexico. How the hell did we end up on the farther side of this country? Don't know the answer. But no, I mean that's a legitimate concern, the concussion thing. I get it. There was just a fight this past weekend. I forget his first name, but his last name's Lemieux. He's from Canada. He fought Gennady Golovkin, the guy that's going to fight this weekend. He knocked a guy out, and he was out for about a minute and a half before he regained consciousness. And
that's scary stuff.
They brought in a stretcher. They stabilized his neck and everything. And he's asking me, "Oh my God, is it really bad? Why are they bringing him out like that?" I'm like, "I'm sure it's kind of bad, but at the same time, they got to look like they're doing things right when something like this happens. You got to have precautions. You got to have your protocol." And one of the mock things that Greg Coleman said, he said concussion-like syndromes during one of the Vikings broadcasts. So when somebody exhibits concussion-like syndromes, you got to be careful.
See, that's something I respect about MMA guys, that they respect their opponent, and like, yes, this is like the most close to barbaric sport that we have, but once the outcome's been decided, like if they got a ground and pound or they got a guy in a bar where they're going to break a leg or an arm, like they'll ease off, like right when it's been decided, like even if the ref is kind of slow doing his job.
Sportsmanship is it's a very big deal in combat sports. It's the last fight that I saw with Canelo Alvarez was against Amir Khan from Great Britain. And he cracked him really hard. Like, he knocked him out standing up, and then Amir Khan fell back and hit his head on the ground, too. So he, bounced. The first person at Amir Khan's side was Canelo Alvarez. Before any of the corner came out or anything, he walked right over there, knelt down, and, just sat there next to him until people made him leave. He's like, dude, I felt what I just hit him with. Is he okay?
It's so weird. The bouncing of the head, whether it be on canvas or on concrete or whatever, that's always like when people get injured the most.
That's so scary.
It's like whether you're in a combat sport in the octagon or if you're just like slip on the ice on the sidewalk, you're like bump, like hitting the back of your head. Like there's so much shit that can go wrong.
And
off
it doesn't matter if you're wearing a helmet. Your brain is still hitting your skull, and that's what causes the problems.
I mean, it's the same thing with the NFL. Like, you'll see a guy go across the middle, get decked helmet to helmet by James Harrison, and he'll pop right back up. He'll be fine. But then if you see a quarterback who gets, like, ragdolled and, like, head bounces off the turf, like, he's done.
I've done that skateboarding. I hit the back of my head on the basement floor. I can't look to either side for a good 2 weeks because I have whiplash. What I assume is whiplash. I'm no doctor. They didn't teach me that in music school.
Well, V-Rod, we've gone about an hour and 20 minutes, but
works for me.
We haven't gotten to a lot of topics, mainly because it's a ruse to get you on the show again. But what's coming up? Hey, see, I'm very slick. I'm very sly. What's coming up from you, MPR? What should people be excited for?
Well, right now there's the Current is at South by Southwest. They have a couple of live things going on. They're going to be interviewing some of the bands.
What does South by Southwest have to do with music?
There's bands there and such. There's bands that play there, and specifically the types of bands that get play on the Current.
Yep.
I do a lot of NPR news stuff, so luckily for me, that's starting to be on the downhill slope because the election is over. But with Donald Trump as our president, who knows? That business could pick up there. Otherwise, aside from that, I pick up freelance gigs here and there, and like I said, I might be training for a boxing tournament this summer, and I'm never going to stop following sports.
Yeah. How'd you do the last tournament? I meant to ask that.
I made it to the semis and got a TKO. Against the girl that won.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and I don't feel bad about it. I'm on the older end of boxing tournament girls. They're usually in the late teens, early 20s, and I'm 30. So it's a fun sport. I wasn't allowed to play sports in high school, so it's a sport/hobby that I can do as an adult. Why the hell not?
Any thoughts of getting into like Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu?
No, because
but you get to wear a gi.
I think I was telling you while we were eating our delicious burgers that I had a knee injury that Chad Greenway gave me some advice about, and I can't imagine ever trying to kick somebody with the kind of knee
what'd
that
you have?
I have IT band issues, and I have a
just get a new computer.
Disalignment of my kneecap, so it goes I've dislocated it before, so it has issues staying in alignment. But
so you got the mini Teddy, except for all their ligaments.
Except my leg didn't basically come apart.
So
poor
sad.
boy.
Yeah. All right. So what's the end game with you? Like, where do you want to be in this radio adventure?
I never actually thought that I'd even end up in radio. I was thinking I'd record records for a living at some point, but I was open-minded enough to look elsewhere.
Would you want to get into that down the line?
Yes. I'd like to stay in radio for as long as I can. I like it a lot, but I will for sure always have a business mind. It runs in my family, and I'd like to have a business where I can buy my own gear, I can buy my own mics, I can do all that, and I can record records because realistically, creativity and music is what I like.
Well, hey, if radio doesn't work out, you can always come down and slum with us stupid podcasters.
And at the same time, radio and podcasts ain't going nowhere, so I can always help with that.
That is true. Well, hey, like I said, we are going to have you back on the show many a time.
Of course. I appreciate and I'm flattered that you asked me to be here.
Really?
Me and my ketchup.
See, I always find it's weird because, like, most guests when they come on the show, whether here or just, like, on Skype, like, they're very excited to be here. I'm like, really? It's just me.
It's
the show.
It's flattering to be asked to talk.
Yeah.
Especially about just nothingness. I mean, when I was on Video Games Weekly, it was, hey, you really know Tomb Raider. Can you give me the review of it? Well, yeah, I can because I for sure bought it.
Oh, yeah, last thing. Give us a good video game recommendation. Like, what's hot right now?
Hot right now. If you have...
Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1 is bomb. My 19-year-old brother has been hyping that to me, and I'm actually going to download it now because we figured out a hack where we can buy it once and recover it on each other's Xboxes.
Sorry, Ubisoft.
Next.
Or whoever.
Next episode, we'll go into detail. The new Ghost Recon game has a very, very good storyline. I feel like it's loosely based on Pablo Escobar, so if you've watched the Netflix documentary, or not documentary, but show Narcos.
Such a good show.
You'll like this game. Warning, there's no aim assist on that game, though.
Oh, that's weak.
Yeah, because I was hardcore on GTA 5 before I decided to play this game, and I'm like, wait, what? There's no aim assist?
Wait, so that's a game that you almost have to play on PC?
I don't know. I'm not a PC gamer. My brother is, but I got it on Xbox One. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I used to be really hardcore into video games in college, except then I realized that I have a very addictive personality, and I would never get anything done.
Well, and you have a kid now, so, I mean, you have other priorities aside from getting to the next boss.
Well, like, I know there's tons of gamer dads out there, and I salute you for getting everything done, but I just get,
There's a personality for it.
She's Veronica Rodriguez. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram at MexyVRod MPR. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If you enjoy the show, tell a friend, spread the word, add to the Jerome Army. Thanks, producer Ali Sorensen, for making me not sound so stupid today. But for Veronica Rodriguez, I'm Andy Carlson and Young. Bye-bye. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Bowl with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.